Welcome here from Marywood University, and I have the opportunity and the great pleasure of sitting in with Gabby Holko here at the Hall of Fame. I guess they treat you good when you're in when it's your alma mater and when you're an alum to be in the Hall of Fame room. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And the voice is a little bit gone. It's a little bit gone. Is that from the conversation of the game takes you where it takes you.
It does. It does. I'm a little animated. I mean, you saw it firsthand.
But I like it. I like your animation.
I think the biggest thing is I get a little high strung, and when something doesn't go our way, I fight about it a little bit. I might have a conversation with a referee or two. Never get too out of line, but I'll push that line.
You have a conversation.
I do.
Now, this is your first head coaching gig.
It is.
How's it been so far, in your opinion?
It's been a roller coaster. I will say that. I mean, we've had our ups and we've had our downs. We've probably had every injury known to man. We only have 8 players right now.
Yeah.
We had 10 to begin the year, and then we had a transfer mid-year, and then our freshman point guard, Jade Rowland, rolled her ankle 4 games in, and it was a bad roll that kept her out all season, and she's going to be medically redshirting, which is awesome because she's going to be here for 5 years anyway with architecture. But just going down the line, and we talked about this last night in the locker room with our girls, is we have had every form of adversity hit us, and we have risen above everything. The girls have really just pushed, and they know that when something comes and stops us in the road, it's not the end of our journey. We just have to keep pushing on with it.
That coming here from Gabby Holko, the head coach of the Marywood Pacers women's basketball team in her first season with the team. And I love that. I feel like this is what I need in the home studio. We have a very nice home studio, but I think can I steal a Marywood backdrop? Can I take one?
We only have one.
You only have one?
We only have one.
Okay.
So I don't think our sports information director would be too happy about that.
I think we should do it. Tell Enrico. He'll make it happen. Just make Enrico do it. I like when Enrico's off camera because I could just say things and then he has to do it. Because then when he comes on, he has to defend himself. But no, I want one of these. But welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. For those of you that are listening online, you're listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. You're also listening on wakeupcalldt.com. We're starting a half an hour back because I still don't know the roads of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And you would think that going here, working here at ESPN for a while, that I would know. But I listened to my GPS, and my GPS, I'm going to blame my GPS because I knew to take exit 188, and it told me to take 186 and wrap me around. So I went the wrong way.
You should know.
How are you with the roads now? Are you good?
Yeah, the roads aren't bad for me, but that's because I was at Misericordia for 2 years as a graduate assistant. So I came up to Scranton a lot, just getting gear. We got stuff from Talk Shirty from Dixon City, and then we also got stuff from I can't even think of it. Battaglia's down in Scranton. But then last year I was at Lackawanna College, just right downtown Scranton. So these roads are pretty familiar to me, and it's kind of easy once you get the hang of it.
If you miss your street, there are one-ways
everywhere,
forever and a day. I remember driving downtown, seeing my street going, there are my friends. There's a restaurant. That's where I should park. And I couldn't get there. I could not. I had to go all the way down to some questionable parts of Scranton and then spin back around again.
Yes, but you find your ways. You find I've honestly found so many back ways from doing that, missing the street and just taking a left turn or a right turn.
They told me to take a back road today that I like country music and I'm all about the back roads. Not this road. This road was not. There was no salt on the road. There was ice there from probably 2003. It wasn't a road to take. So, and I God bless, but this is another home for me, the people of Scranton and Northeast Pennsylvania. But it's 2 hours south of Syracuse, and we know that we're going to get snow every year because that's where Santa lives. But I feel like Scranton still to this day is not prepared for snow.
So that's the one bad thing is
there's no preparation.
Especially in this area in Dunmore. Our roads, they're a little dicey.
Yeah.
You have to really be careful and cautious about it. And you see plows out, and you see that they're
just don't know what they're doing. You see them driving about using tax dollars, but I don't think they ever dropped the plow. I don't think they ever put it down.
I've seen it a couple times.
And I feel like them knowing that you shouldn't use table salt, I think that that's something that should be, I mean, should that be a thing? They should probably know that by now, that you can't use, they run out of salt and they're like, just get it from the table. But it doesn't work out. But yeah, I mean, remember we had a Valentine's Day storm, and here we are on Valentine's Day. It was back in 2000 and I think it was 2007. Yeah, it was my final few months here. And it was such a bad storm, and there were cars on the street that were snowed in. Like the snow was above the cars. The people that lived in the houses just were like, I was like, I guess you don't live for four or 5 days. They didn't do anything to their car. They just left their car like that. I was like, how do you get food? Do you have a job? Like, I mean, people just, I mean, the snow hit and then everyone was like, I guess I'm staying inside forever. So, I mean, I guess the hibernation part of it is good though.
I was actually in Syracuse last year for Syracuse Notre Dame men's game.
Yeah.
And that's when you guys got a big storm. They thought it was going to miss you. And we were in a hotel and came out to the car, and the car was covered.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad.
Well, if you come back to Syracuse now, you have to say hello.
I will.
That's how it is.
I will.
Are you going? Because I know you're, to everybody that's, we have a lot of Syracuse fans that listen. Gabby is not a Syracuse fan. Gabby is a
Duke fan. I will proudly say that.
I couldn't even say it.
I will proudly say that.
I couldn't even get it out of my mouth.
Fan, and Zion is a beast.
I saw his jump from underneath the basket to the 3-point line to block that shot. He's insane.
The last game, he almost popped a ball. He went in for a jump ball, and he almost popped it. You saw his fingers indent the ball. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I guess you guys had a good game against the Cardinals, who had not a great game.
Yeah, we came back 23 points, I think, with 9 minutes to go, and Coach K set a wonderful line in his huddle, and that was it. And it was, I don't coach losers.
I don't coach losers. That's. I mean, I guess when you're Coach K, you can say that.
Yes, you can.
You can say whatever you want.
Yes.
You'd be like all your firstborn children. If you don't win this game, I mean, Coach K could say whatever he wants.
He can. He's the GOAT.
He is the winningest coach of D1 men's basketball, and right behind him is Jim Boeheim, who has over 1,000, no matter what the NCAA says. I think he's the only coach that's going to hit 1,000 twice.
I really respect Syracuse, though. I love that their zone. I mean, I love their zone that he has played for his entire career. And I love his animation as a coach. I mean, when I went and saw them last year live, that was my first time seeing Boeheim live, and he gets so into it. And
he kind of Pinocchios a little bit.
His team.
Like out of nowhere, his arms will just.
Yeah.
And he'll do that. You never you kind of get what he's doing, but it's like, are you raising the crowd? But he does these. He just kind of does little swimming moves.
Exactly. And
but he is animated.
It's great. I love animated coaches. I mean, I'm animated. I try not to be, but I'm loud and I talk a lot. My mom always said that she named me correct, and I'm Gabby, and I gab a lot, and I gab during games.
Well, see, what I like is when I was doing MU Courtside, you come right up to our table and you crouch down. But your cadence, I was like, quarterbacks in the NFL, you have to be able to command the crowd. You have to have good cadence. And you have that. You have what a quarterback should desire. Because whether it's loud or not, if you want hey, Tierney, I said that side. I'm just like, oh, okay. I mean, but it's direct. It's what a coach needs to have. It's cadence.
And the big thing is, and my assistant coach, Joe Reno, he cracks up because he doesn't realize it or notice it in a game, but my girls do.
Yeah.
I stomp my foot and I have a heel, I wear heels. So that's my way of getting their attention if they can't hear me, because there's sometimes where I will be screaming something and they just don't hear me. So I stomp my foot loud and they all turn real quick and it's like, what did we just do?
Speaking here with Gabby Holko, the head coach of the Marywood Pacers women's basketball team. I was here for MU Courtside. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I want to stay where we're at. I want to talk about the heels. Okay?
Okay.
It's okay. And listen, I'm not ashamed of this by any stretch of the imagination. But one time when I was dating, I was like, you know what? I want to see if a man can stand in these, because they say that men can't. And I was like, I want to see if I can actually stand and not die. And can I felt like I was going to break my ankle every step I took. So how do you, A, stand in them, and B, stomp your heel without killing yourself?
A lot of practice. So I've been a tomboy all my life.
Yeah.
Never once did I wear heels until I probably got to high school and started going to dances and stuff. And my mom would always make fun of me and just say, Gab, you need to practice your walk with heels. Like, you look like you're going to fall. You need to really just practice walk in them. And then when I got to coaching, my mom was like, there's no way you're going to wear heels. And I said, oh yeah, there's going to be a way. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But really it was just practicing, and I don't get the big stilettos. No way. That won't work well. Just a little heel. Just a little
heel.
Just a little bit so they can hear it when you stomp. It sounds like tap shoes. It's great.
I'd love to see Enrico in heels for one game.
One game.
But seriously though, I mean, when you stomp, I mean, you could stomp and twist. I mean, I don't know. I will say this by just trying one time, just to know, as soon as you put your foot, it's like being on ice skates for the first time. When you put your foot in, it goes forward, your ankle goes up, and it's not normal. It's just not normal for the body.
It's not.
So I've always respected women. I was raised by the greatest of the great, but I will tell you with utter certainty that on top of being raised that way, I give women all the props in the world to put those death-defying things on.
Your toes might be numb for a couple days after a game, but that's why we play 2 games in a week and we have a couple days in between. So we're good.
So do you immediately go into the locker room in sandals? I mean,
No, I wait until I get up to my office, and then that's when I take them off.
What are the shoes of choice?
My shoes of choice are Nikes. I love Nikes.
Okay.
I mean, we are a Nike program, and so our men are transitioning back to Nike, right? They are Under Armour right now, but they're transitioning back.
I love off camera. Enrico gives the yes, sir.
They're transitioning back, but I mean, Nike. I grew up in Nikes. I mean, Nike is the shoe of choice normally for basketball programs.
Yes.
I was Under Armour at the 2 other schools that I was at, and their shoes are great, but nothing will beat a Nike.
No, and I think that, you know, there's a lot of great stuff. We have for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we actually have a local company who makes things, I mean, as close to Under Armour as you're going to get, and Nike, and it's Dry Seg Apparel. So they do some good work with their stuff too. They actually make some jerseys for us. They make form-fitting jerseys. They make the athletic. They make high-end jerseys that you'd see in like high schools in Tennessee and whatnot. That you can. It's got the tight part and you can roll up on it, and it's like the athletic cut and it fits toward. I mean, they're like $100-something a piece.
Oh,
they're very nice.
That is nice.
I have one.
Do you?
I do, and the company colors are white, black, and orange. So when I wear them, people think I'm a Bengals fan, but I'm not. Or a Browns, and who would ever want to be mistaken for
Browns.
that?
Who's a Browns fan?
What is your NFL team of choice?
Steelers.
Oh, okay.
So I am.
Are you from Pittsburgh?
I was born and raised inner city, north side Pittsburgh.
I know you were talking about that.
I speak Pittsburghese. I'm a Yinzer to the fullest.
What is Pittsburghese?
Pittsburghese is, I have a whole shirt of it. So a couple words that we like to say in Pittsburgh is yins. And when I first got here, I said that to my team. I said, what are yins doing? And they looked at me like I had 2 heads and said, Coach, what's a yin?
Yeah.
And I said, it's like when you guys say in NEPA, use, they're big use people up
use
here.
Guys.
Use guys.
Use
or
guys.
It's like a y'all from down south.
I say y'all. And there's no reason why I say it.
Well, you travel to Florida, so you probably pick it up down there.
Yeah, and I dated a country bumpkin one time.
Okay.
I dated a Carolinian.
Okay.
So y'all, I actually see. I start to, because I've done impressions my whole life since I was 3. So I absorb and will use again. So I find that if I'm around it for a while, I'll absorb it. And I absorbed her family's thick accents. And I called my mom one time, and she goes, "I would like to speak to my son." Because I had gone like, I was there. I was, you know, Thomas Rhett and Tim McGraw. I mean, it was a real Southern accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kept saying y'all, and my mom was like, "What? Nobody taught you that." But I mean, I don't say you all. I mean, what do you say? You say yins.
I say yins. What do yins do? And another like thing we say like in Pittsburgh. So instead of saying down, like I'll say downtown. So it's spelled DAHNTA.
Downtown.
Yeah, downtown. Instead of south side, it's south side. We just don't pronounce all the letters in a word.
Yeah.
Or there's a saying like, "Did you eat yet?" No, did you? And it's "Jeet yet?" No, Jew.
Oh, nice.
So it's like we just form everything together.
You just shorten it.
Yes, we do.
Because you got to keep moving in Pittsburgh.
Yes, it's very quick paced.
But I was out in Pittsburgh for the AFC divisional game between my Jaguars and your Steelers.
And that's when Bortles ate us alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was in Le'Veon Bell. That was the sign. That was the beginning of the end.
Yes.
When he was like, he didn't practice, and there was like 3 days before the game, there was a little bit of back and forth. So I got to go to Pittsburgh for the first time, as I had flown through it, but I got to experience Pittsburgh. So I went to Church Brew Works, which is awesome.
Amazing food.
I do a thing for my entertainment show, Superpowered Pop, called Comic Book Trails.
Okay.
So I went and did a comic book trail thing, went to 2 of the comic book stores in Pittsburgh, ate at some great places besides Church Brew Works. It just kind of took in the area. And then I drove where the field is, where Heinz Field is. So I'm in, like, first of all, it's like right in the water.
North Shore, yep.
It's awesome. So I'm seeing that. And then we drive by and it's on the left. And as we're driving by it, we go to make a right. And you see this little tiny road up along this mountain. And people in the car were like, "We're not going on that road. Like, it looks like you're on a bridge it looks like you could die at any time." And I was like, "No, we're taking that one." It's when you're driving and the stadium's here, you go straight and then you turn right, but there's a long period of no guardrail. And you can actually pull off and you can take pictures looking down at the stadium.
Yeah. That's Mount Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mount Washington overlook. And that's
horrifying, but I like that stuff.
It is. And it's a beautiful view of Pittsburgh. I mean, I loved Pittsburgh, born and raised in Pittsburgh. And I would definitely end back in Pittsburgh if a job opportunity presented itself. But that's not for a really long time. And Pittsburgh's it's a livable city. I mean, I say all the time, I think Scranton reminds me a lot of Pittsburgh. I mean, you get the big city feel in Pittsburgh, but it's not like you're in Philadelphia or you're not in New York City. It's a lot cleaner than those cities. I mean, it's a great city to be a part of. Yeah. And right now, Antonio Brown, I'm happy to say goodbye to him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a great NFL wide receiver, but I think he's not bought into what the program is of Steeler Nation. Yeah. And if we need to get rid of him, we need to get rid of him. I heard he might be going to the Browns. I heard some talk about that.
I think everybody's going to the Browns. We'll talk with Enrico about that in a little bit. Everybody's heading that way. But really, though, the Steelers, as a broadcaster, it's been almost 16 years of covering the NFL. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, is there ever a time where I would have thought that arguably the best running back in the country, Le'Veon Bell, and arguably the best wide receiver in the country, Antonio Brown, would both have been in this nasty divorce with the Steelers and be leaving at the same time?
I would have never guessed it.
No.
I honestly wouldn't have. You normally, when you think of drama on football teams, Steelers are not one to normally have drama.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty put together, and it normally doesn't happen, but anything can happen.
Yeah, anything kind of goes with this. And what are your thoughts on it? I mean, you said you're happy to see them go. To see Le'Veon Bell. Now, I figured out the math of this.
Okay.
If you make $100,000 a year
before
taxes, and you work for 50 years, it's $5 million. Before taxes, $5 million. He was going to make $14.5 million for 16 weeks of football before taxes. He was going to make more money than you would make in 3 lifetimes of working 50 years. You would have to work 150 years.
Jeez.
And he turned it down.
Yeah, I think a lot of and yes, they put their bodies through awful things. I mean, they're getting, especially a running back. I mean, you're getting hit every single play.
Right.
But as I said, I'm sad to see them go because they were great for the Steelers for as many years. I mean, I think Antonio Brown has been there, and this was his 9th season.
Yeah, you said it's been 9 good years.
Yeah, 9 years. But you have some young and up-and-coming players. I mean, we have James Conner, who is right outside of Pittsburgh, up in Erie.
Yeah.
And then you have Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think he's going to be, if as good as Antonio Brown, if not better.
And you have Ben Roethlisberger,
yes.
Vance McDonald, Jesse James, my guy Jalen Samuels, who I covered in college. So, and you have a line of, let's see if I could do this. You got Villanueva, you have Pouncey, DeCastro.
Jeez, you know them all.
I actually voted, I think, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen I voted into the Pro Bowl. Okay. I voted for Juju, and ironically, he took Antonio's spot, which he'll do now too, again.
Yep.
But no, I mean, I think Pittsburgh's going to be fine.
I think so too.
I think Le'Veon's biggest mistake was going, you guys need me. And I was like, James Conner beat cancer and a knee injury.
Yep. He's very talented.
He did all of that. And he said one thing to Pat Narduzzi, and Pat and I have spoken a lot, and shout out to Pat with the Pitt Panthers, but my conversation with Pat Narduzzi on James Conner, he said that James came up to him and said, "Hey, coach, I have cancer. I'm going to go beat it. I'll be here next year." And he went and beat cancer and came back and played his final year, killed it, and they practice in the same facility as the Steelers.
Yep.
So the Steelers have been watching Conner forever, and they make this third-round pick, and they think, oh, maybe a third down back, maybe somebody get a couple carries. No, starter. And they said he couldn't catch.
Yep. And
they said he couldn't lead the team.
Mm-hmm.
They said he couldn't get 100 yards here, a couple touchdowns there, and then Jalen Samuels did it. So I think that offensive line, who, mind you, the most expensive contract is between $3 and $5 million.
Really?
So you're blocking for a guy that's supposed to make $14.5 million, who said no, and your big time contract is like $5 million over 3 years. So I think the line needs to get a little shout out, a little respect.
I think that might happen, but I correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was on ESPN that even if they let go of Antonio Brown, they're not really loosening up much money. I thought it was.
Well, when it comes, because he's still under contract,
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Blake Bortles in Jacksonville. If they want to let him go, you have dead cap space.
Okay.
So you essentially are paying for a player you don't have.
Okay.
Like
okay.
Deion Sanders retired, and he was with the Cowboys. Then he went to the Redskins, and then eventually he retired. He was getting paid by the Cowboys and the Redskins
at the same time
in retirement, and he was getting paid by the Cowboys to play for the Redskins.
Jeez.
In the same division.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and there's contracts in baseball where guys, have been retired for like 8 years and they get paid every year.
Wow.
So you got to see that fine print. You got to do it the right way. But I mean, I think Pittsburgh's going to be okay.
I think so too.
I think you guys will.
We're going to get that 7th.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, anybody to break that Tom Brady 6 right now. Now, let me give you the stats on this. 18 seasons, 9 of the last 18, 50% of the time that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have been together, they've made the Super Bowl. 50% of the time of 32 NFL teams, 50% of the time they make the Super Bowl. Of that 50%, they've won 6 of 9, which means they've won 67% of the Super Bowls they've been in. Whether you love them or hate them, there is no team in any sport that can say something like that.
No. I found something out about Belichick. And do you know, in Madden, if you pick the Patriots to play them, you are going to have a very skinny coach coaching you on the Patriots, because Bill Belichick is the only coach in the NFL that does not give his rights to Madden.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense he would do that. I was going to say that, Bill Belichick, on the show, one of our listeners compared him to the angry woman who leads the charge against the kids in the Goonies. I forget her name. It's Miss something. I forget. We did the side by side.
Yeah.
It's eerie.
That's crazy.
I said I think that Bill Belichick looks like what constipation would look like as a person. I respect him. I'm just saying he looks like somebody who, needs to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think after winning all those championships you would smile more.
Agreed.
And
he's wearing a great cut-off sweatshirt hoodie. I mean, he's sleeveless hoodie.
He dresses like a homeless man, and he looks angrier than hell, and he's playing in the Super Bowl.
Hey.
I would be smiling from ear to ear. And can we bring up this before we get into to Marywood a little bit more here? I like that we've gone NFL.
Hey.
I like that we've done this. So I have to ask you this question about now I'm talking about how Bill Belichick is on the side of the field, but Sean McVay on the other side. After the game, Gurley says, "I'm not hurt." Jared Goff, the quarterback, says, "I wanted to get in the ball, but that's not my call." Sean McVay says, "No, he was fine. I got out-coached." Sean McVay is 33, the same age as me. Good coach, strong coach, beautiful mind, very capable. Took what Jeff Fisher had, all the same players, and he did nothing with them, and he turned them into a Super Bowl team. With that being said, when you don't play Todd Gurley, you would think that no matter how many cold sweats you had the night before, that you staple a Post-it note to your forehead that says, "When in doubt, play Todd Gurley." What do you think about the fact that he left him watching the game?
You never know what happens behind closed doors, especially with teams. I
Right.
mean, and players are going to say what they want to say, but in the end, I mean, it is up to the coach, and the coach is the one making the decision. And
Yeah.
you don't know what happened behind closed doors. Something might have happened against their roles or against just their team, what they want to show. And
Yeah.
and as a quarterback, you would think your quarterback would be on the same page as your head coach. And that's the thing that people go against the Steelers and saying that. I think AB said Ben Roethlisberger and Tomlin were too close. But I feel as if in a football situation, it's the same thing with basketball. You want your point guard to know exactly what you're thinking on the floor. You want them to be the coach on the floor. So in the end, you really don't know what happened behind closed doors. But I mean, Todd Gurley is a heck of a player, and I was pretty taken aback by not seeing him as much.
I want you to put me on the hot seat because we do rapid fire on the show, but I want to turn it on myself. Yeah, Enrico, it's going to happen. I love when Enrico's off camera. The animation, we should have a secondary camera that shows him watch our conversation. But you're listening to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, wakeupcalldt.com, and you're watching on Facebook Live with this beautiful backdrop I'm stealing shortly. And that is on facebook.com/live now DT. We're with Gabby Holko, the women's basketball head coach at Marywood. I want you to do this because I tested myself, because you have to know this information. So I want you to give me a player's name or number, and I am going to tell you who it is.
On my team?
On your team.
Okay. Number 25.
Number 25 is Alyssa Olsen.
Yes. Number 20.
Emily Theobald.
14.
Kate Riley.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Let's do this.
15.
Kara Romaniello.
Romanello, yeah.
Or Ramanello?
Romanello.
Ramanello.
That I is silent.
Ramanello.
Romanello.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit different.
35.
35 is Natasha Hessling.
34.
No, 34 is Marissa Fernandez-Tierney.
Yes. Number 3.
Kylie Wires.
Yep. Number 24.
Number 24 is Morgan Shamrow.
Okay. Number 4. This might be a little.
Oh, number. She didn't play.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God. You got me on this one.
Come on. I said her name earlier.
Oh, number 4. Give me a hint. It's
Starts with a J.
Oh, my God. It's failing me.
Come on.
I don't have it.
Jamie.
No, Jade. Oh, Jade.
Jade Rowland.
Oh, yes. She didn't play.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was doing
everybody else.
Did I get everybody?
I believe so.
Am I done? No. Number 10.
Oh, number 10.
Angst.
Angst.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yep. Our lead scorer last night, 16 points.
And head
8
coach
rebounds.
Gabby Holko.
Yes.
I do know your name.
Yes.
And I say it correct.
You do. They normally, so I have heard also from family members that watch our games, and they get a little, it's funny. I know. I mean, my last name isn't that difficult. It's Holko. I mean, for me, it's not difficult. But
right.
Every other time on.
What do you get?
I get Helko. I get Holmo. There's so many different things.
Tortora, we've gotten literally to the house. We had a letter sent to my mom, Debbie Fontuna. I know Tortora is not Smith, but it's T-O-R, Fontuna. It's T-O-R doubled. It's T-O-R-T-O-R-A. It's like follow the bouncing ball. Tortora. It sounds like we will rock you. Tortora. It's very simple. And it's not how you say it in Italian. In Italian, it's Tortora. But I won't even mess with English, Americans with the English here. I won't even do that. I won't say Tortora. It's just Tortora. And they're like, oh, okay, so Tortora. Or I'll say Tortora, and they think that I stutter, so they'll write Torah.
Huh.
I've gotten everything. We've
crazy.
gotten X's in our name, Z's. Fontuna took the cake, though.
Yeah. With my first name, it has made me angry since I was in grade school. So my full name is Gabrielle, and I get probably 95% of the time Gabriel.
Yeah, you know what I get for Daniel? It was literally within the last 10 years voted the most common male name in the country. And I always got Danielle from my teachers. So I put Dan, and my teacher said Danae.
Yeah, that's bad.
I was like, if you can't say my name, I don't need to take this class.
Yeah, so I always get Gabriel, and I actually got fed up one year in college, and I said, there's another L and an E at the end of that. Gabriel is the male name. I'm Gabrielle.
See, I'm the same but opposite. You put an L-E, and you're supposed to know the difference.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So let's talk basketball. We haven't done that.
All right.
So your team came back and won. First quarter started out kind of slow. and then you made that surge in the second, and then third quarter back and fourth you took over. It was a dogfight, and I love games like that because it was close. Nobody was out of it. You win it 63-52. I know as a coach, you want the blowout.
Yes.
So just bring me into this game. You faced off against Immaculata. I believe that you have locked in a home playoff game, and you are the 3 seed for the Atlantic East. So first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
To be able to say this 16 years after Courtside started, to be able to talk about playoffs, seeding, and home, I'm beside myself in the best of ways. So congratulations.
Thank you. It is. I mean, it is a game that you like, and we knew it was going to be tight. I mean, Immaculata is a good team. I mean, they fight extremely hard, and they have multiple weapons. But so do we. And a lot of people say, "Oh my goodness, you only have 8 girls. What are you doing with practice?" I mean, I even went with Enrica the one time, and I said, what am I supposed to do? We had 6 at practice one time, and we really work on the fundamentals.
Yeah.
I mean, the fundamentals are really what put us in the position that we are now, working on ball handling, working on passing, working on post-entry passes. I mean, Natasha Hessling for us, number 35, senior, she's one of our leaders on the team, and she's having, I know I've only been here a year, but she's having one of the best seasons in Marywood women's basketball history. I mean, she just broke a 30-year record for season rebounds, and she's at, I believe, 330 right now.
Yeah.
Which is unreal. I believe it was last year that she just broke the 500 rebound mark, and she's more than halfway there, almost halfway there for that, and it's exciting. It's really, really exciting for her. But last night we knew going into this whole season defense is going to be our issue. We constantly work on defense, but we just don't click right away.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing that we say is we have to guard our yard. You have to be in help side. You have to play the gaps. And sometimes we're overplaying, then we get backdoored. And then it's just, we really have to hone it in defensively. And last night, after that first quarter, I mean, you probably saw me call a timeout pretty quickly. And I kind of reamed the girls out a little bit. And I said, this isn't what we went over. This isn't our game plan. Offense is going to come. That's our break. 30 seconds each possession defensively is not a break. Not one person takes a break on defense. And that's really what happened for us. We ended up going full court press, and our girls were able to cough up some turnovers, and we had 21 points off of their turnovers, which was fantastic.
Yeah, and it was a tremendous game to see what you were able to do to come back and make it happen. And then I called her my dog of the game. I love junkyard dogs. So I called her the dog of the game. I said, gritty player of the game, however you want to say it. But Araya Onks was the one for me.
Absolutely. Araya is a player, and Araya is a player that she doesn't know her athleticism yet. I mean, this is her second year playing collegiate basketball.
She's physical.
But she's a junior. So she's a junior this year, technically academically, but only a sophomore athletically. But she has hopes which she's going to start applying to occupational therapy.
Yeah.
And she wants to be an occupational therapist. So she's going to be leaving after next year. So we'll only have her for 3 years. But Araya is that player that if you need a big time shot, knock it down. Yeah. I will let her take 9 out of the 10 shots that she has, because I've never seen a female player rise up on her shot the way that she does. She sees the basket. She's able to drive in the paint, stop on a dime, and rise up into her shot. And that's very rare to see for women. I mean, especially, and I can say that I've seen a lot of basketball. But last night defensively, and Rye knows this, Rye defensively just knows that she has to give a little more defensively. She stands up a little much, or she tries to block too many shots. And I said, no. We're not blocking any shots. Let's close out in control. Let's keep them in there. And we did that. And she did that. And she kept us in that game offensively.
Yeah, and I think that, going back and just, looking over that game, and my thoughts on, what I was seeing was there were, and I said this before, there's always that utility belt, so to speak, or, the player where the stats aren't going to show everything. And that's why I called her the gritty player of the game, because Araya Onks, there were certain things she did, whether she was, tipping it on defense, but she didn't get the rebound and this, that. She was doing all of these things where I said, whatever the stats show, because the scoring came later on, but whatever the stats show, it didn't adequately show the game. And I suggest you go back and watch MU Courtside and see because she really honestly did all of these things to make the team better. And her physicality, the way that she just her dribble, and for me, it's the way that you go about what you do. And, little things that, might mean nothing to anybody else, but it was the power that which she dribbled, and it was with where she was going, how she was going. And once she kind of made the decision, I'm going here, I'm cutting this way, nobody could really stop her. And she just goes with such force, but not an offensive foul force. Yep. So I feel like what I'm trying to say is she's physical, but she has control.
Agreed. And with Rye, too. Rye is actually, this is her, I believe, third game back. Newman was her first one, and then Marymount, and now Immaculata. She had mono. So she had her last game.
Oh, I had that here at Marywood.
So, yes. So she had her last game at Immaculata, and she had 21 points, 10 rebounds. I believe it was a double-double.
How was her mono?
Her mono. So
did she feel the shards of glass in her neck?
I'm not positive about that, because when she played at Immaculata, she didn't know that she had mono, but she did have mono. Okay. And then she was out for 2 weeks.
So she played with it.
We didn't know.
Oh my God.
We did not know.
Because when you get it, you just want to sleep all day.
Yeah. So she felt fine. She felt fine. And then her blood test came back that she had mono, and we were really nervous that we weren't going to have her the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then she just kept going to the doctor, and they checked her, and she finally got it cleared out of her system, and we're lucky to have her back with us.
Which is tremendous. And Natasha Hessling, I mean, I brought it up during MU Courtside. I mean, the Atlantic East Conference I said at this point, Natasha's just synonymous with player of the week. It's just whatever of the week, there she is. So, I mean, you talked about her ability to rebound, but I saw yesterday during the game, she came off, she got her right ankle taped up, and I'm like, is she going to be ginger on it or anything? And I don't know if it's the miracle spray that they spray in the World Cup and whatnot, but she came right back onto the floor like nothing had happened. And we've spoken about her before, but Natasha I got to imagine that as she goes, she kind of inspires the team.
100%. Tosh is our heart.
Yeah.
That kid right there this is my 5th year in collegiate coaching, is the hardest worker I've ever had. She is somebody that will run through a brick wall for you. It doesn't matter how bad she's hurting. And right now in her senior year, she's been having some issues. It's some aches, some pains. By that 4th year, your body's hanging on.
Oh yeah. I remember Amy Hand. Shout out to Amy Hand. I think she wore number 34. But when she played here, she played all the way through. And at the end, I mean, she was just grinding it out. But you have to be a warrior, because her body had all of those. I don't think she maybe sat out one game.
Yes, and Tosh has not done that yet. I mean, and she just pushes through every time. I'm like, Tosh, you all right? I'm fine. And that's her biggest thing, is I'm good.
Yeah.
But the way she is a leader, so if you would talk to Tosh, she's the gigglest. She's a giggler, and she's just so quiet, but she leads by example. And that's what really drives our team. The girls see her going a mile a minute. They're going to go a mile a minute. I mean, no one on our team rebounds the way that Tosh rebounds, but Emily Theobald, who is right next to her, is learning from Tosh, and that's something that's going to really help us in the future.
I was going to ask you about Emily Theobald and not only her, but Marissa Fernandez-Tierney, because I believe they both had 4 fouls, and you kept them in, and they stayed smart with it. Just what you could say about their play, and I have to shout out Marissa, because she was very animated in the game. So you could see the fire. But the thing is, when she was upset, if something didn't go her way, if a call was made or whatever, she would be upset. She would turn away from the official, and she'd walk toward you to talk to you. And I was like, okay, you know what? That takes professionalism. That takes maturity, because she didn't fight over there.
No.
But I like when I see somebody. It's the eyes. I saw her come off, and I'm like, oh, nobody should mess with her.
No.
I mean, but her and Emily Theobald, they both played with purpose, and even in foul trouble, they gave you what you needed. And I know Emily knocked down some shots late, and I know that Marissa was all over the place. So
Marissa is our Energizer Bunny. She is all over the place. I mean, defensively, that kid can stop anybody. And a lot of the time, referees call some fouls on her because she's so all over the place. Yeah. But sometimes they're not fouls. I mean, this week, I thought this was going to be her 3rd game in a row that she fouled out. And she just goes. She goes hard. I mean, she goes 100% of the time. And she's really starting to feel herself gain that confidence offensively. She was not confident offensively.
Because I was going to say, I took a lot of defense from her in this game.
Up until about 2 games ago, where she knocked down a couple threes, and she has that ability. But defensively, she's somebody that I want on one of their best players to lock them down.
Yeah.
And then Emily Theobald. Emily is a solid big kid, and she is somebody that is the most positive kid that I've met. And she's somebody that's like, guys, that happened. Let's get over it. Let's get over it. Next play mentality. And that's really what our motto has been is you mess up one play. I don't want to hear the my bads. I'm over my bads.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. It's done. Next play's on there. And it's the same thing game wise. We're one game at a time. Now we have Gwen and Mercy up on Saturday. So that's the game that we're focused on. We're not focused on from behind, and now we're not focused on what's going to happen on Monday.
Right.
We're focused right on Saturday. But Emily Theobald knocked down I think it was 3 long 2-point shots, and they were pretty long. And we want everybody to be able to shoot the 3. We've been really practicing on that this year. And I told him, if you're back there and you have a wide open shot, take it. Same with Tosh. I mean, Tosh, we do a couple competition drills, and Tosh has been knocking down the 3-point shot. So it's exciting.
Yeah, that coming from Gabby Holko, the head coach of Marywood Pacers women's basketball. And I want to give a shout out to my family in Spain, the Caracaos. They watch from Spain 5 hours ahead of time. They watch every single video. I never tell them to. I never tell them it's coming on. They just watch.
That's awesome.
So not like Mexico, New York, like actual Spain.
That's awesome.
That they watch. So shout out to them, and we appreciate it. We appreciate everybody listening and watching. We're going to take a break here in a moment, bring on Enrico, and then the final piece, we will have the 3 of us hanging out here. But Gabby, I want to ask you, I never got to do courtside when you were here,
yes.
obviously, because this is your first year.
Yes.
So I was November 2003 to February 2007. The only reason why I stopped is because, what are you laughing about? You got something? You think I'm going to go somewhere with this?
No, keep going.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about where I was at that time.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, well, I'm 33, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I would, speaking with Brendan Murphy, I'm 20, and we were having conversations back and forth, and he's like, I don't know that. And I was like, remember when they could foul, and you, like, remember when you could be physical? Remember you can, like, when you're underneath the basket, they let you play a little bit, and he was like, I was like, Brendan, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be like that. So, but really though, I mean, I miss the physicality. And shout out to Kevin Moran, who is my resident director at Marywood, who's watching right now.
Hello.
So hi, Kevin. And I believe Kevin is, I know he's an Eagle fan. We can't talk about that. Sorry. I know it was in Pennsylvania, but it's not a Steeler. But so I got to do courtside, and it was the first time I got to do courtside for one of your games. So did you get to see any of it? What was kind of your feel? Like I said, you came close enough to us. So we have talked many times, but this is the first time we've officially met.
Yes.
So we didn't meet in the game.
No.
But you were there.
I was right there.
You
and
did.
I was pounding on the table a little bit.
I like it though. I like
the listeners always hear me. I know my dad watches the games, and he's like, yeah, I hear you the entire time.
But I love it. But I hear you and I hear Enrico. I hear you both because you get close. Now, not as close as Coach Q, and I'm going to shout him out, a friend of mine from Syracuse, the women's basketball head coach. Coach Q goes all the way past half court and will like knelt down on the field. I'm like, Q, he can do it. Nobody's allowed to do it, but they let him do it. And I think it's because he dresses so nicely.
Yes.
And he's a nice guy.
His style is unbelievable.
It is. And we're actually doing a video where he's going to dress me.
Oh.
I think I have a good style, but I need like the vest and I got to do it up nice.
No, that's fantastic. I actually, when was it? It was in Indianapolis, the Final Four that the Syracuse women were in, that I got to go, and I saw them play, and his style in the Final Four, man, he pushes it up and up
Takes
and
it
up.
a notch.
It's up.
So did you get to see any of our courtside?
I did.
Okay.
I got to see the first half because I really wanted to watch our first half because that's where we lacked.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. I think that you and Brendan, you worked really well together. And I'm excited for Brendan to be able to learn from you, somebody that had started that program. I mean, it's great. It's absolutely great.
16 years ago, and 12 years later, I get asked to come back. And that was the thing is, I said something to Enrico, and he said, well, are you going to do the game on Wake Up Call? And I was like, well, I could. And he's like, hold on, I'm going to talk to Gabby. And then I get that joint message from you both, like, how about you come back and do courtside, which only students do.
Yes.
And then I spoke with Brendan and felt like it was in good hands. We had a long conversation. So, I mean, I cannot, I'm still in the shock area, but I do wear my heart on my sleeve. So I know that I'm going to have like a happy cry at some point because this is my it's my first show.
Yeah.
But I got to do one for your game, and I never got, I can now say I have a courtside with Gabby Holko, which is nice.
You know, we have 2 more home games coming up next week. So
He goes, you can come back anytime. I was like, don't say that because I will.
I know.
Especially playoff time.
Yeah.
I'll find my way. Because you have a Monday game.
I have a Monday game, and Rico has a Wednesday
game. Yeah.
So that might be nice to take a long break in the week from up in Syracuse.
Yeah. Get away from the ice and snow.
Come down here to NEPA.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to put me up in a house. I was gonna call it. I was gonna show up in Enrico's door and be like, "You want a fourth kid? You got a fourth kid for the week? I'll be here." But Gabby's gonna come back with us. She's gonna take a break for now. Gabby, I appreciate it as always, and we will be back in just a moment here on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, as well as MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and WakeUpCallDT.com. We are live from my alma mater of Marywood University, and we will be back with the men's basketball head coach, Enrico, and I say it right, Mastriani. He'll be back in a moment.